Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
Welcome to update number 2 on our 2010 fantasy football player rankings. This week we have 4 different topics we're going to hit on here. We're going to talk about Vincent Jackson once again. We talked about him last week. This time we're also going to be talking about Larry Johnson, Owen Daniels, and we're going to be talking about Rashard Mendenhall and the Steelers, their offensive line situation right now. First one that I wanted to talk about, we did again talk about Vincent Jackson last week as a guy that, again, he was looking to be traded possibly. There were rumors out there, maybe the Seahawks and the Redskins, Bears, possibly interested in picking him up if the Chargers were willing to deal him. He was also rumored to possibly be seeing a suspension this season, and the NFL has gone ahead and suspended him. It looks like a 3-game suspension. At first, it looked like he wasn't going to appeal, but now it looks like he might just do that. So we'll see if he does, in fact, start out the season missing the first 3 games. But that is, in fact, going to help out guys like Malcolm Floyd and especially Legadou Nene. A guy like Jackson, he'll probably appeal that, but he should miss out on that. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have to face all 3 games, at least 2 in there. But that should give Nene an opportunity to show what he can do. Remember, with Floyd, only had 1 touchdown even when he got the starting job when they released Chris Chambers. So if he's not stepping his game up and getting it done, and Nene is showing good consistency in the offense this summer and during the start when he gets that opportunity when Jackson's out, he could unseat a guy like Floyd. So this is making him a very nice deep sleeper that we need to pay attention to as we're moving into draft day, and especially as we're moving into the early part of the season when we find out when Jackson does in fact serve that suspension. Second area we want to cover here is Larry Johnson. With Larry, it is rumored now, we did hear about a month or so ago that he was projected to be the starting running back for the Redskins this season. Clinton Portis was projected to be the 3rd down back, and Willie Parker still wasn't looking very good at all. And so would not be surprised again if Parker is cut from this team by the start of the season. They also may go out and get Brian Westbrook, but he wouldn't be used as anything more than a 3rd down back in what Clinton Portis is as. And they may, who knows, they may end up cutting Clinton Portis if that were the case. But Larry Johnson, it just stands to reason. He's the healthiest of them all, and he probably still has something left in the tank there as long as he's motivated to have a successful season. So it looks like now they're saying that he may get significant work in the early downs in this offense, and he was also projected to be the goal line back. So it does look like Larry Johnson, you should be able to get him at very cheap value this season. I would suggest you jump on that as long as he's healthy this season, because anytime you can get a guy that's going to have an opportunity to be a starter, going to be a guy who gets the touchdowns on a team, then there you go. They have Donovan McNabb there at quarterback, so they have to pay attention to the passing game. And so I do project that a guy like Johnson should be a valuable player to have on your fantasy roster this season if that is the case. Next player we wanted to cover is Owen Daniels. Obviously, he had the ACL tear. That was very unfortunate back in the middle of last season, I should say. It wasn't anything recent. Doctors are saying that he is a go. Looks like everything's okay. He came out and said he looks forward to being ready to go and everything by week 1 this season. So it looks like he should be able to be starting unless there is a setback. He'll probably be in the lineup right away week 1. That's a nice sign. I don't think he'll play, obviously, at full health this season, as it does take a couple years before a knee injury of that severity does get back to a full strength, but he still can be a very serviceable starter on your fantasy squad. The final area I wanted to talk about, Willie Colon, the right tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, tore his Achilles tendon. He is done for the year. That's a big blow for this offensive line, an offensive line that was gearing up to run the ball a lot more this year. It never helps to lose offensive linemen, especially when you're still trying to prove that your offensive line can get it done on a consistent basis. Looks like the team is bringing in Flozell Adams. Remember, he was released from the Dallas Cowboys a few months back. Flozell at this time, his projections are basically he's 35 years old. And he's more geared towards the running game, so that's good for Rashard Mendenhall. We'll see if they do, in fact, sign Adams, but we'll have to keep an eye on that situation. At least with Adams, I think he can help out definitely in the running game if they do, in fact, sign him, but we'll have to see how he does in pass protection. Obviously, he had horrible struggles in the playoffs last season. So that's it. That's our updates for this week. We'll come at you next week with our part 3 update. We'll be doing these updates every week throughout the summer. And the reason why we're doing this again is because we write our player rankings, through June and whatnot, but information still does change even in these final months before we get into the season. So we like to give you quick updates on the different players and what's going on out there so that you have better information and you're informed when you get closer to your draft days.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy football.